So first off, well done with this film. It's so inspiring, so powerful. I think one of the most powerful scenes to me is when Harriet is crossing this Pennsylvania border. But to my understanding, there were a few challenges during that day of filming.
Yeah.
So could you talk about that? How did you get from this rainstorm to this beautiful image of hope?
Literally, you know, I had to, there comes a point in every show where, you know, that you just have, everybody's having a bad day. It was raining, it was miserable, people were in a bad mood. Cynthia had 4 changes, and, you know, and we just started to think we weren't going to get it. And I was being told, I don't think you're going to get this. And I'm like, no, we can do this.
Yeah.
You know, let's go up to the top of the mountain. And it was so muddy, we had to, like, we couldn't bring certain of the carts up. We get up there, we build the crane. Cynthia, you know, hustles through a change and makes it up to the top of the hill. And at that moment, the sky parted.
Wow.
And this beautiful sun broke through, and it was really a magical moment because it was as we were rolling.
Yeah.
You know, it just parted. It was like rolling, one take, got it.
And then,
Wow.
It was
Wow.
amazing.
Wondering for you, Cynthia, because we know that you have done several marathons, and I'm just curious to know about the physicality of this role. You know, you were doing your own stunts, right?
Yes, very
And
much
what
so.
was that like, bringing this to life?
It was necessary. They were challenging. There are things I hadn't done before, things that were new, but I knew that it was important to be connected to the physicality of her. So I wanted to do the stunts because I felt like it would inform the storytelling. And I'm stubborn like that. I want to be able to, I guess, soak up and feel everything I need in order to fill it in the story. So that's what it felt like. I tried my best. I did my training beforehand. I wanted to prepare before we got on set. And that's what happened. Yeah.
And for you, Casey, this is the first feature film on Harriet, which is so unbelievable. But I'm wondering, where did you draw that inspiration and that research from?
Oh, a lot of places. There are 3 really great biographies. We had a historical consultant who is a premier Harriet scholar, and she wrote a wonderful book on Harriet Tubman. Her name is Kate Clifford Lawson. And her book on Harriet is wonderful. And there were 2 others that I used that were also a great source of inspiration, along with William Still's book on the Underground Railroad, scholarly works on the Underground Railroad, and so lots of research.
Yeah. And another thing that I loved about the story was Harriet's faith. You know, she's literally walking, you know, by faith and not by sight. And so I'm wondering for you, Cynthia, was there any personal connections in terms of spirituality with that?
Yeah, I mean, I have a faith myself. I believe in God. And what that did for me, working with this person beside me did was open my eyes to my own faith. It sort of allowed me the space to explore it a bit more, be a bit louder about it, because I think Harriet was unashamed of it, quite brazen about it. No one was in any doubt about the fact that she believed in God and believed that God was her guide. So that meant that I could also pray unabashedly, which allowed me to sort of explore something that I hadn't explored in depth before.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us. We're looking forward to everyone seeing this incredible film.
Thank you.
Great work.
Kristen. It's
Thank
good to
you.
see you.
Thank you.
Can you tell us how you got started, how you got involved in this film?
I got a text message from my friend Cynthia Erivo, and then I was having lunch with one of our producers, Deborah Martin Chase. We met at some big grand event in New York, and she said, "Let's have lunch." And I knew exactly who she was and about her legendary career as a producer. And so we met, and at the end of that meeting, she also told me about Harriet. And so a few days later, I was signed on.
Wow. And take us back to that first day of shooting. What was that like for you, that first day of filming?
The first day of filming for me, I know they had been filming for a while already. So they'd been filming for like 2.5, 3 weeks already. So they were already bonded. They'd already been through some hardships as a crew already. There's a famous, infamous story about the production that there was like a wasp nest. I mean, they'd already been through some stuff. So I came on, you know, all well dressed, thanks to Paul Tazwell, and you know, in my office on the set, and you know, there's already just a little bit of ire that's thrown his way. But I think it works to great effect in the movie, you know, because Harriet and William, while they both spent their time, you know, side by side doing their life's work together and pursuing their passion, they came from such different perspectives
Yeah, absolutely.
of Black life in America at that time.
And it's wonderful for us to see you and Cynthia working together because you're great friends.
Yeah.
And it's just a great relationship that we see on film. So did that help at all? Did that help you bring that story to life?
Yeah, I think that, it's I hope you see Harriet and William, but that you also see some Leslie and Cynthia, because there's some of that in their relationship too, while they came from different perspectives, different realities of Black life in America at that time, they were there to support one another. Mm-hmm. And he was there to see to it that Harriet got her work done.
Yeah.
The work that she was called to do.
Now, how much of William Still's story did you know before signing on?
I knew about his work with the Underground Railroad for sure, but I didn't know about all the chapters before the Underground Railroad. I didn't know about the childhood and the family trauma and all that stuff. So that was really helpful to me in learning sort of what maybe was the impetus for him to start that work.
And there's a portion of that story, correct me if I'm wrong, William Still's mother who is separated from some of her children. Yeah. Do you think that's what creates this sort of fear that William has when it comes to Harriet escaping and going back and getting more people?
For sure, that's involved, right? But I also think that when I was investigating it, that was really central to me in imagining that, sensitivity, I've used my relationship with my own mother, and that thing, that a son has with his mom, the sensitivity to her pain, can really give you, a purpose and a thrust in your life about who you want to protect and what's important to you, because you're kind of maybe trying to heal that thing that you could never heal in your mom.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us. Again, congrats on this film.
Thanks.